Man's need to protect his valuables is as old as civilization itself. Over the years, locks have taken many forms: large, small, simple, ornate. The history of locks is one of both dramatic developments and slow evolution. Yet lock development has not always kept pace with other technological advancements. If you're one of the millions of people using a conventional combination lock on your safe or vault, you are relying on a security technology well over a century old. The mechanical dial combination lock was first developed shortly before the Civil War. After the war, as booming commerce and industry created unprecedented demand for safes and vaults, the dial combination lock quickly became the favored security system. In the coming century, technology was to progress at a mind-boggling rate, never before seen in the history of the world. Yet during that time, the basic wheel design of the Civil War era hadn't really changed. Until now. You're looking at the Moss-Hamilton X-07, the end result of a program which required several $1 million and over 3 years of intense research and development. Jimmy Hamilton, chairman of the board and CEO.
At the inception of Moss-Hamilton, we set out with one goal: to engineer the highest quality, most secure, user-friendly lock ever created. To achieve this goal, I knew it would take a team of highly skilled engineers with differing areas of experience and expertise.
Mr. Hamilton was able to put together a very impressive team. Director of the group and head of security analysis is Mas E. Hiranaka, retired Security Systems Chief, Electronic Warfare Laboratory at Fort Meade, Maryland. President G.L. Dawson heads up the design team, along with Vice President Tom Cassada, Harold Brooks, and Dan Thompson. All these gentlemen are former award-winning design engineers with the IBM Corporation. Mas E. Hiranaka, Director of Security Analysis.
With over 50 years association in the engineering, intelligence, and security areas, I have recognized for many years that advanced technology was required for a more secure combination locking system. The design, the development, and production of the X-07 combination lock gives to the world today's technology incorporated in this locking system.
Jerry Dawson, President.
The X-07 was engineered to be totally uncompromising. It has designs to protect against every known form of attack. It is impossible to X-ray or manipulate. There are no wheels. Auto dialing is totally impractical. It would take a modified auto dialer 190 days in single combo mode and 250,000 years in dual mode. It was engineered and tested to reject attack by physical shock and/or vibration. One example is the motor gear, which was balance engineered to within 1/70 millionth of an inch. It is impervious to magnetic attack. The lock's radio frequencies cannot be translated into information which could compromise a lock. The RF emissions are very weak, less than 4 microvolts, and the software re-encodes with every opening. It resists ESD and/or electrical shock. In testing, we hit it with 250,000 volts, 60 times, directly on the dial. It had no effect whatsoever.
How does the X-07 provide an unprecedented level of security? The X-07 is the first lock that thinks. Its unique design has 27 patented features, with 31 more pending. Here, the engineering team has performed quite a feat. They have successfully combined a computer, power plant, and lock in one compact unit, the exact same size and footprint of the conventional combination lock, approximately 3 inches by 2 inches by 1 inch. In a conventional combination lock, gates on wheels line up and a fence falls into the gates, allowing the user to retract the bolt. In the X-07, all of the necessary electrical energy to power the lock is created by turning the dial, totally eliminating the need for batteries or an external power source. As the dial is turned, electricity is generated. First, the capacitor is charged to 3 volts. Then the internal electronics are powered up. This integrated circuit board was designed with state-of-the-art, low-powered technology, potted with new high dielectric materials. Once the electronics are powered up, the user can begin entering the numbers of the combination. Each time the user enters a number, the microcomputer regenerates a random number for a new starting point. The correct combination is stored in the computer's memory, and only when the computer recognizes that each and every number entered matches the correct combination is energy released from the capacitor to the stepper motor, turning the motor gear, which allows the main cam to engage the cam and slide assembly. This in turn pulls the lever down into the main cam, which allows the user to retract the bolt. Although smaller than the tip of a finger, the X-07's Intel-designed microcomputer is a powerful processor. This artificial intelligence allows the X-07 to provide unprecedented security features. For instance, it is able to provide a total and true scramble. Because the microprocessor totally resets, the practice of backdialing is absolutely impossible. The processor also totally resets 40 seconds after the last turn of the dial. With the X-07, a security manager never has to worry about daylocking. And if someone does try to open your safe, the X-07's special audit feature will record and report the number of attempts. Additionally, the number of successful entries is recorded. With the X-07, you never have to worry about casual observers learning the combination. Since the microcomputer always generates a random starting point, there is never a relation between the dial position and the number being displayed. Because of its design, it's impossible to take off the back cover and learn the combination, as can be done with conventional combination locks. Unlike conventional dial locks, there are no dead zones. The X-07 provides 1 million true and usable combinations, 500 billion combinations in dual mode. The X-07 is so smart that its computer can detect robotic dialing activity and will refuse to recognize even the correct combination. Superior engineering and technological innovation make the X-07 a lock that provides unmatched protection for your security needs, and you'll be equally impressed with its ease of use. J.D. Hamilton, Vice President Marketing.
Everybody knows that most locks promising advanced technology are very complicated. In designing the X-07, it was a major priority to use the technology not only to make a lock that couldn't be defeated, but also to make a lock that was totally user-friendly. The X-07 had to be this sophisticated to be this simple to use.
With the X-07, there are no complex instructions to remember. Simply dial directly to your number. No specific number of revolutions is required. An easy-to-read LCD display ensures that you're dialing the exact number every time. This eliminates the need for dialing tolerances, which compromise security. Arrows indicate dialing direction, and should you pass your number, you can back up or just continue dialing in the same direction until the correct number appears again. The X-07 even displays various symbols telling you what to do, so you always know exactly where you are when dialing or in the change key sequence. 3 use modes give you flexibility and convenience to meet your specific needs. The lock can be operated under sole responsibility with 1 3-number combination, dual responsibility with 2 3-number combinations required within a limited time frame, and supervisory subordinate mode, with 1 combination being required before another dialer can gain access. This means even authorized users can be locked out whenever you desire, without ever having to change a combination. It comes down to this. Opening the X-07 is very easy if you know the combination. Impossible if you don't.
At Moss Hamilton, we view the X-07 as the first in a new generation of intelligent locking devices, using this new and advanced technology to meet a broad spectrum of security needs.
Only a company as progressive and well-rounded as the Moss Hamilton Group could have produced a lock like the X-07. The company's management brings together top professionals in engineering, computer design, and marketing. With the X-07, the Moss Hamilton Group has not only created the world's most technologically advanced lock, it's created a lock technology that may well service security needs throughout the 21st century and beyond.
Keep your eye on us for an exciting ride while we bring you tomorrow's technology.
This is a step-by-step explanation of the X-07 operations. This video will very closely follow the instructions shipped to you with your X-07. It may be helpful to follow the written instructions while viewing this video. Your X-07 has been shipped in the single combination mode. The correct combination has been factory set at 50 left, 25 right, 50 left. It is recommended that you first practice opening this lock a few times using this combination before attempting to set a new combination. Example, the factory set combination of 50 left, 25 right, 50 left. Important. The user should dial with complete full wrist turns. Stopping to regrip produces necessary pauses in dialing activity. This helps the X-07 distinguish between human and robotic dialers. The X-07 has protective software that detects robotic dialing. If robotic dialing is detected, the X-07 will not open even if the correct combination has been dialed. The X-07 may mistake a human for a robot if the user 1. Dials continuously with no pauses in dialing activity, 2. Dials with short, quick, repetitive turns, producing very short pauses in dialing activity, 3. Dials combination in less than 15 seconds. If the correct combination is 50 left, 25 right, 50 left, then begin by dialing left until the lock powers up and numbers appear on the display. It may take 3 to 4 full turns for power-up to occur. Continue dialing left until the first number, 50, is displayed. Stop on 50. Now reverse directions by dialing right until the number 25 is displayed. Stop on 25. Now reverse directions by dialing left until the number 50 is displayed. Stop on 50. Now reverse directions by dialing right. The OP symbol, meaning open right, will be displayed. Continue dialing to the right until the dial stops and can no longer be turned. When this happens, the bolt has been retracted and the lock is now open. Note, if at any time you see the lightning bolt symbol in the upper left-hand corner of the display, simply start over by redialing the combination. Continuing around and backing up. When dialing, if you pass your target number, you do not have to start over. You may continue around by dialing in the same direction until your number reappears. Stop on your target number. Reverse direction and continue the dialing sequence. If you pass your number by no more than 3 numbers, you may back up by reversing directions slowly. When doing this, the display will jump back 4 numbers. When the display jumps back, you may resume dialing slowly in the original direction to your target number. When you reach the desired number, simply stop, reverse directions, and continue the dialing sequence. Modes of operation. Before putting the X-07 lock into service, you must first decide which mode of operation you wish to use. You cannot set a combination until you have selected a mode of operation. The X-07 offers 3 modes of operation. These selections are 1. Single combination mode, 2. Dual combination mode, 3. Supervisory subordinate mode, generally called super sub mode. The single combination mode. In this mode, the lock functions much like a standard 3-wheel combination lock. That is, the X-07 will open any time the correct 3-number combination is successfully dialed. Example, dial in 50 left, 25 right, 50 left. Dual combination mode. This mode was designed primarily to accommodate those users who wish to require dual integrity security. In this mode, the X-07 requires that 2 separate combinations be entered, either one first, within 40 seconds of each other. Example, 25 left, 50 right, 75 left, and within 40 seconds, 30 left, 60 right, 90 left. Dial in either of the combinations. 25, 50, 75. The E2 symbol, meaning enter second combination, will be displayed. Now, within 40 seconds, begin dialing the second combination, 30, 60, 90. The OP symbol, meaning open right, will be displayed. You may now retract the bolt. Supervisory subordinate mode. This mode provides dual integrity security of another kind. 2 separate combinations are required. There is no time frame. The supervisory combination controls the access of the subordinate combination holder or holders. Example: a supervisory combination of 25 left, 50 right, 75 left, and a subordinate combination of 30 left, 60 right, 90 left. The supervisory combination may be dialed in at the beginning of the work period. Example, 8 a.m. When this is done, the UL symbol, meaning unlocked, will be displayed. The subordinate combination holder or holders may now gain access as often as desired by successfully dialing the subordinate combination. At 5 p.m., the supervisory combination may be redialed. The LU symbol, meaning locked up, will be displayed. Now even the subordinate combination holders are locked out until the supervisory combination is again redialed. Change key sequence. Selecting a mode of operation and setting combinations. Once you have selected the mode of operation and the combination or combinations you wish to use, then you are ready to begin the change key sequence. 1. Retract the bolt of the lock. This is done by entering the correct combination or combinations. Example, 50 left, 25 right, 50 left. 2. Now insert the change key in the change key holes located in the back of the lock. 3. Begin dialing to the left. The change key symbol will appear in the top right corner of the display. Dial in the correct combination or combinations. The serial number located on the inside cover of the lock may be used if you do not know the correct combination or combinations. When you have dialed the correct combination, the SL symbol, meaning Select Mode of Operation, will appear. Begin by dialing left. To enter your selection, stop on the number of your selection, then reverse directions by dialing right. 1. Single combination mode. 2. Dual combination mode. 3. Super sub mode. 5A. If selection number 1, single combination mode, was chosen, the EC symbol, meaning enter new combination, will appear. Example, 30 left, 60 right, 90 left. Dial in the desired combination. Your X-07 will now flash the new combination 3 times and then display a PO symbol, meaning pull out change key. Pull out the change key from the change key holes in the back of the lock. The CC symbol, meaning confirm combination, will appear. Confirm the combination by redialing in the new combination. The OP symbol, meaning open right, will appear. Continue dialing to the right to retract the bolt. Your X-07 has now been set to your desired combination. 5B. If selection number 2, dual combination mode, was chosen, the E1 symbol will appear on the display, meaning enter first combination. Dial in one of the combinations. Either combination can be entered first. Your X-07 will flash 3 times the combination you have just dialed. The E2 symbol, meaning enter second combination, will appear. Dial in the second combination. The X-07 will again flash 3 times the combination you have just dialed. The PO symbol will be displayed, meaning pull out change key. Pull out the change key. Your X-07 will display the CC symbol, meaning confirm combinations. Begin confirming the combinations by redialing one of the new combinations. The E2 symbol will appear. Now dial in the other combination. The OP symbol will appear, meaning open right. Continue dialing right to retract the bolt. Your X-07 has now been set to your desired combinations. 5C. If selection number 3, Super Sub Mode, was chosen, the process is the same as 5B for Dual Combination Mode, except that the supervisory combination must always be entered first when the E1 symbol is displayed. Note: if you do not like the combination that is flashed on the display after entering it, and you wish to change it, pull out the change key while the X-07 is still flashing the undesired combination. When the display stops flashing, it will redisplay EC, E1, or E2, depending upon which combination you were entering. Now reinsert the change key. The change key symbol will reappear. Now dial in the new combination of your choice and resume the normal change key sequence. Additional note: whenever you see the change key and lightning bolt symbols displayed together, you will need to stop and return to step number 3. If the lightning bolt symbol is displayed when confirming combinations, then you must stop and return to step 2. If at any time you misdial or do not properly finish the change key sequence, the X-07 simply reverts back to the correct combination or combinations you started with. Audit feature. Successful openings count. Your X-07 counts the number of successful openings. This 4-digit count never resets. To check this count, simply begin turning the dial to the right when the lock is powered down. When the lock powers up, it will alternately flash the 2 numbers. The number with the left arrow represents the first 2 digits of the count. The number with the right arrow represents the second 2 digits of the count. The example, 00 with a left arrow and 15 with a right arrow, means that this lock has been opened a total of 15 times. Unsuccessful attempts count. Your X-07 also counts the number of incorrect combinations dialed. The unsuccessful attempts count resets when the correct combination is dialed. This count is automatically displayed when you begin turning the dial slowly to the left from power down. It is also displayed when you begin turning slowly left after checking the successful attempts count. The count will not be displayed unless 3 or more unsuccessful attempts have been made. Once you have seen the count, continue dialing left in order to dial in the correct combination. Let's recap the symbols. OP, open right. Lightning bolt, upper left corner of the display. Incorrect combination has been dialed. Whenever this symbol appears, simply begin turning the dial to the left to retry. UL, unlocked. LU, locked up. Key, change key symbol, in the upper right corner of the display. Change key has been inserted and the X-07 is in the change key mode. SL, select mode of operation. EC, enter combination. E1, enter first combination. E2, enter second combination. PO, pull out change key. CC, confirm combination. Lightning bolt plus a number represents the unsuccessful attempts count. 2 alternately flashing numbers with arrows represents successful openings count. We hope this video is a helpful training aid. However, experience is the best teacher, and we recommend personally operating the X-07 a few times to become more familiar with it.
The X-07 is an exceptional state-of-the-art combination lock designed for high-security applications and as a direct replacement for current standard high-security lock installations with regard to fitting space and bolt patterns. The following demonstration will show proper installation procedures. Within the installation package are an instruction and change key kit, including operating instructions, installation instructions, spare parts brochure, template, quick reference guide, warranty, registration card, and a change key. Change keys for use after the lock is installed to set your own combination into the lock. We recommend that you look at the operating instructions before doing that. Parts of the lock assembly, which mounts inside the safe or container, a dial ring assembly, which goes on the outside of the container, a dial assembly, a dial hub assembly, an installation kit, a videotape that's contained in early shipments and available on request in later shipments. The basic tools you will need to have on hand to install the X-07 are listed in the installation instructions and include 2 small flat screwdrivers, a small Phillips head screwdriver, a medium Phillips head screwdriver, a flat file, a hacksaw, and a vise. In the installation kit, we provide 4 mounting screws for the lock case and 2 for the dial ring, a gauge for setting the dial end play, a gauge for cutting off tubes, 2 tubes, inner and outer tubes. These tubes go inside the container to act as a seal, a saw for cutting the tubes, a stone to deburr the tubes after cutting, a vise clamp to hold the tubes while cutting, grease, and an Allen wrench for the hub set screws. We'll start by mounting the lock case. To do that, take the back cover off, pull out the drive cam and the spindle assembly, remove the ESD protector from the cables. With the cover off, the cable is disconnected from the system card, thus eliminating the ESD exposure at the cable, and straighten the cables. Take the large tube, the one with the flared end, and feed the cables through the tube starting at the flared end. Fit the tube over the black retainer. Feed the cables and the tube through the container wall. Another outer tube inserted from the dial ring side would be very helpful as a guide for greater ease in feeding the cables through the container wall. Use the mounting screws to mount the case to the container wall. Next, we need to mount the dial ring. First, we loosen the cover screws and remove the cover. Then, loosen the cable retainer screws and remove the cable retainer. Now we work the ZIF seal out of its holder and remove the LCD from the dial ring. Next, remove the 4 tube retainer screws and lift out the tube retainer and the ZIF seal holder. However, with pre-cut tubes, this step is not necessary. In that case, the dial ring can be mounted with the tube retainer already in place. Attach the dial ring to the container using the 2 screws provided for this purpose. Bring a light pressure against the dial ring with the mounting screws. Push the tube back against the retainer on the back of the case as far as it will go. At this point, use the gauge to establish the proper length of the tube. Mark the tube for cutting. It is possible to order some locks from the factory with pre-cut tubes and spindle. If you have a lock installation with pre-cut parts, you may want to fast forward to the assembly portion of the video. Remove the lock case from the container. Remove the tube and place it in the vise clamp. Use the fine-tooth saw provided to cut the tube at the mark. The tube wall is very thin. If you attempt to use a coarse tooth saw, it will be very difficult to cut the tube and will result in an unacceptable cut. Use the deburring stone to remove the sharp edges from the tube to prevent damage to the cables. Remove burrs from the outside of the tube as well. The piece cut off the larger tube will be used to measure the smaller tube and the spindle for cutting. Mark the small tube, put it in the vise clamp, and use the fine-tooth saw to cut it. Use the stone to deburr. Tubes are now ready for assembly. Measure the spindle with the piece cut from the large tube. Mark the spindle, put it into the vise clamp, and use the regular hacksaw to cut it to length. Use the flat file to deburr the end of the spindle and smooth it to fit into the hub without difficulty. Pieces are now cut to length and ready for assembly. Fit the small tube into the tube retainer on the back of the case. The notch in the tube must be aligned with the protrusion on the inside of the retainer. Seat the tube as far as it will go into the retainer. Slide the large tube over the retainer. Be sure that the cables are inside of the large tube and not pinched between the tube and the retainer base. Remount the lock case and the tube assembly on the container. Loctite thread locker is recommended for use on the case mounting screws and the dial ring mounting screws. Screw the lock case to the container and tighten the screws. Now we want to reassemble the parts into the dial ring. We will start with the tube retainer. With the raised center portion of the tube retainer facing outward, feed the cables through its center hole and position it over the tubes so that the small tube slides through its center hole and it rests against the end of the larger tube. Insert the upper left screw. Now place the ZIF seal holder in the lower right quadrant of the dial ring with its tab positioned under the tube retainer spring. Insert a screw through both parts and start it into the hole. The seal holder should be rotated clockwise to assure approximately 1/8 inch clearance between it and the dial ring at the bottom. Tighten the screw. Insert and tighten the rest of the screws. Next, we install the LCD. Open the ZIF seal cover and move the ZIF connector locking tabs outward to their open position. Place the cables into the ZIF connectors with the bright metal tabs facing toward the circuit board on which the ZIF connectors are mounted. The 5-tab cable goes into the ZIF connector nearest the cable connecting to the LCD. The 4-tab cable goes into the ZIF connector away from the cable connecting to the LCD. The 3/16 inch long darkened section of the cable under the bright metal tabs should be completely inside the ZIF connector when properly installed. Close the ZIF locking tabs to lock the cables in place. Now place the LCD into the dial ring. Note that the cable coming out of the LCD is nearer one side than the other. The side nearest the cable should face the outside of the dial ring when installed. Now close the ZIF seal. Rotate the seal into the seal holder so its beveled side with the cable clearance slots is facing outward and toward the center of the dial ring. The cables must exit the top of the seal and lay in the clearance slots going toward the center of the dial ring. Next, install the cable retainer over the cables and the end of the small tube. Make sure the cables are clear and not pinched in any way. Insert and tighten the 2 screws. To avoid unnecessary damage when inserting the drive cam spindle assembly, always make sure that the motor gear is in its proper detent position. This is the proper position. If the gear is not in its proper detent position, as shown here or here, use a pencil to move it to the right position before attempting to insert the drive cam spindle assembly. Insert the drive cam and spindle assembly Attach the dial ring cover with screws. Put the hub in place, lightly tighten one of the hub set screws and turn the spindle to check the alignment of the dial ring to the spindle. It may be necessary to make adjustments in the dial ring position. To do this, remove the hub and the dial ring cover and tap the dial ring into position. When the alignment is satisfactory, torque the dial ring mounting screws and replace the dial ring cover. Grease the hub to provide lubrication in the bearing and replace the hub on the spindle. Use the feeler gauge to set the spindle end play. Bend the gauge for ease of use. With the gauge between the hub and the hub bushing in the dial ring cover, push the hub tight against the gauge and tighten the set screws. Install the lock case cover. It may be necessary to turn the hub to line up the gears. Install and torque the case cover mounting screws. Turn the hub. The lock should be functioning with the numbers displayed. Enter the combination 50, 25, 50. If installation and operation is satisfactory, torque the hub set screws to 1-inch deflection of the long end of the Allen wrench. In preparation for assembling the dial, we want to put some grease on the retaining ring of the hub in a couple of places. This grease will help hold the retaining ring in a centered position. Next, make sure the ends of the retaining ring bracket the set screws in the hub and that an equal amount of the retaining ring is exposed around the hub so the dial can slide easily into place on the hub without interference from the retaining ring. Put some additional grease inside the dial and push the dial assembly into place. You will hear a click as it clicks into place.